Hey everyone, Concealed Tactics again here. Uh, again, this is a channel about guns reviews, and concealed carry. A lot of it. This is actually for the person thinking about getting into concealed carry and maybe never owned a gun, and thinking about wanting to eventually here be a concealed carry person, and how much will it cost to get started so that I can carry a gun legally, and what kind of expenses will I incur to do so? Well, this is where it gets interesting, because it's all, varying prices and different things like that. So I'm just going to use basic averages for guns and basic classes and different things like that in most states. I'm basing this basically because I live in Ohio, and this is going to be based a lot of what prices around I have for some of the things, but in general, most of the stuff is going to be pretty concurrent through the states. So first of all, well, what do you need? You need a gun. So, average cost of a gun. Well, there's used guns and everything else, but say you're just buying a basic carry gun, new user, you never had one, but you want a nice new gun, whether it be a Glock, a revolver, or whatever it may be. And I'm actually pricing this a little bit low, but average cost around $500. So that's just the start. Okay, so now maybe you don't even want to buy your gun yet, but you still need to take the class. And then you need to get your license before you even buy your gun. Average class costs, or at least in my area, average about $100 to $150 per class, and then the license runs about $68, but depending on where you're at, say between $60 and $100. So right off the bat, you're already up to somewhere around $600. I mean, you may find a gun used, or somebody's got one, a friend or something, which is awesome. Save you some money, great. But now you got to carry that gun eventually. A lot of people only have range guns; they never need a holster. Now we got a holster. Well, holsters range anywhere from $15 to $150 to $200, depending on what you want to get. Average cost, I'd probably say between $30 and $60, $70, but can be up there. So, say you've completed your class, you've got your license, you spent about $200 to do that, you went and got your gun. Well, geez, now I got to shoot. So what's the next thing you need? Well, you need ammo. And usually to take your class, you probably already bought ammo or something, but minimum, depending on the caliber of type of gun you're going to be using, if you're going to shoot more than 50 or 100 rounds, which hopefully you will, just target ammo, full metal jacket kind of stuff, it's going to be a minimum of around $100, at least I would think, to be somewhat comfortable with your gun, to shoot a couple hundred rounds through it. And then, once you do have it, then self-defense ammo, depending on the type you buy and how many rounds. With me, I carry 20 rounds with me always, or actually more than that. I carry about 22 because of some in the chamber, and one's got an extended magazine. So a box of good self-defense ammo could be anywhere between $20 and $50, depending on what you want to get. So now, just your basic startup cost to decide to conceal and carry, probably going to be around $800. You figure you got your gun for somewhere around $5, give or take. Your license and your class, somewhere around $200. A cheap holster, somewhere around $30, $50. And ammo, minimum $100. Even if you just got a few each different types of rounds, you're still talking about $800 to $900. Now, I know there's ways to get around this. You may own a gun already and just decide to conceal carry. There's tons of things. But I'm just saying, if you're a new person just thinking about getting into concealed carry, don't own a gun, need to take the classes, need to get the license, that's a basic startup cost. I would conceivably say between $800 to $1,000. Now that's just to get you going. Okay, great, you got your concealed carry, you got your license, you got your gun, you got your holster. Now, have you thought of everything? Yeah, I think you have. Well, you might not have thought of everything. What happens when you have to leave that gun in the car? Well, in my state, you can leave it, in a glove box, but some states require more, depending on what you got to do. But personally, I like to have it a little bit safer than just leaving it in a glove box or a center console thing. So I bought a little gun safe that goes in the car. Well, that's great. But that's anywhere between $30 and $100 depending on the type of safe you want to get. Some have biometrics, some don't. Some have quick releases, some just have a key. Size will matter too. Then, if you do have kids at home, I don't. It doesn't affect me that much, but I do have a home safe. Now, if you only own one gun, you may not need a huge safe, but you're going to need some sort of safe to probably keep the gun in if you have children or something that, when you go to bed at night. Now, this is, you don't have to. I'm not telling you have to, but probably a good idea to have something around to lock the gun up for certain occasions. So, again, those could be anywhere from $50 to $1,000 depending on how big of guns, or if you own other guns and you want to put all your rifles in there and stuff, and different things like that. Now, you think you got it all covered. Well, here's the next problem. How do you dress? What kind of clothes do you wear? Well, depending on the type of gun, your body size, your body shape, you may have to start buying some clothes so that you can carry more effectively. A skinny person might want some certain tactical clothes. They have tons of different things out there if you really get into it. I mean, even t-shirts that got the holsters right in the underneath the armpits and stuff for extra magazines. Maybe you want to, if you're a woman, have a bag, a special bag to carry your guns in. And if you're a male, like me, you might have one of those over-the-shoulder bags that you carry. So in case you can't carry and you're in a business suit, or it's a little awkward to carry, in a dress suit, you got something else to carry it in. And then, of course, usually, once you get going, once you have a gun, you usually want more guns, but that's a later issue. But you're talking potentially anywhere from, to get going, concealed carry, just the basics, between $500 and $1,000 easily, usually more, because if you ask any concealed carry owner how many holsters they own, I'm betting they're going to say more than one. You will have different holsters for different types of dress. You will have different clothes for different types of guns. And then if you have a different gun, say you have a 40 caliber versus a 9mm or a 38 or a revolver, well, every one of those may need a different holster. A pocket holster is going to be different than this or that. So you will have a ton of holsters. You will have different clothes. You will have everything. So eventually the costs can get pretty high depending on how much money you have and how much you want to spend. I will suggest also another additional cost: more range time, more ammo, and more training. It will never hurt you. It is always beneficial, and it is something, if you're going to conceal carry, I'm a firm believer that you must constantly practice and keep your skills up. And this is one thing, I always try to shoot a couple hundred rounds a month minimum, and always improve. But for the new concealed carry owners or future concealed carry people who are just thinking about getting a gun, this is really just a few off-the-head kind of thoughts. Because I'm sure it's not discussed a lot. How much does it cost me to get started if I want to carry a gun in everyday life? Again, the prices are going to vary, and depending on where you live and if you already own a gun and whatnot. But for the most part, if you're starting from scratch, own nothing, have nothing, these are some pretty basic costs and outlines. We'll go more into each one of these categories more and more later and a little more detail. But for right now, this is just a bit pretty something for the new future concealed carry owners to think about before they start going out and buying guns and doing everything. What is it going to cost? Boy, I really want to carry a gun. How do I do it? Well, those are some things to think about. So you guys have a good day, and Concealed Tactics out for now.